Hello, and welcome to a pretty quick video today where I'll go over Wednesday's PWHL draft. I'm Mario in Black, and I'm going to go over some basic information, the draft order, and some of the top players that will be drafted. Let's get right to it. Let's start with some basic information. The draft will take place on Wednesday, July 17 at 5 p.m. Eastern. This is 2 p.m. if you're on the West Coast. And if you're somewhere in between, then it's somewhere in between 2 and 5. The draft will be 6 rounds of all 12 teams selecting. This includes the expansion teams. If you're quick at math, you already know that 72 players will be drafted because that's what 6 times 12 is. If you're not good at math, well, that's what this bullet was for, to do that for you, so you don't have to. When a team drafts a player, they retain the rights to that player for 2 years. That means they can't play in another PWHL team unless the team has given away their rights via trade or, something to that effect. Drafted players all have to sign contracts with the team before they're officially able to play for that team. The draft will be at the Fox Theater in one of the new expansion cities, Detroit, Michigan. Next up, let's go over the draft order. Vancouver had the most gold plan points and won the tiebreaker over Seattle, so they will select first. The draft release says that Seattle will pick second because they were the worst team in the league in the standings last year. The expansion teams pick next, starting with Detroit, San Jose, Las Vegas, and finally Hamilton. The New York Sirens pick 7th, and the Toronto Scepters pick 8th. Both teams missed the playoffs last season. The Minnesota Frost picked 9th, and the Boston Fleet picked 10th. Both teams were eliminated in the first round of the playoffs last year, and Minnesota had a worse record than Boston in the regular season, so they pick one spot ahead. The league runner-up, Ottawa, will pick 11th. And finally, the Walter Cup champions, Montreal, will pick 12th. There's a lot of opinions and criticism over the ordering the league put out. I'm not going to go into that here, but I did want to acknowledge it before I moved on. Next up, I want to highlight some players to watch in this draft. I've linked Kyle Cushman's draft rankings below. I'm going to highlight the top 12 players on his list, since there's 12 picks in the first round and it felt like symmetry of sorts. I don't know if these 12 players specifically will be selected in the first round, but I suspect a good number will. I'm going to give a very basic overview of each player. I recommend reading Kyle's article for further information. I haven't followed things at the college level quite like he does. I have watched a few of these players play in the past, especially in the Olympics, but I don't have that level of in-depth analysis. I'm just going to give a very basic overview, and I don't want to plagiarize his work or anything like that. First up is a lot of people's consensus top pick, Caroline Harvey. She also goes by KK Harvey. Harvey is a defender out of Wisconsin. She had a heck of a year already. She won the Patty Kazmaier Award as the top player in college hockey, and she was on the Olympic gold medal winning team and won tournament MVP at the Olympics in Milano Cortina. The 23-year-old from New Hampshire has been on the senior international stage since she was a teenager. She's got the Olympic gold this year, an Olympic silver from 4 years ago, and 5 world championship medals, 2 gold and 3 silver. She also won a gold and a silver at the World Juniors as well. Her list of accolades from Wisconsin is a mile long, and it's looking pretty good that she'll be headed to Vancouver and become a linchpin in their core going forward. Abby Murphy, a right wing out of Minnesota, is next up. From the Chicago suburbs, Murphy was teammates with Harvey on the gold medal winning U.S. team, as well as the silver medal winning team in 2022. She has 4 world championship medals with 2 gold and 2 silver. She also has a pair of junior level gold medals and a silver as well. Murphy scored well over a point per game with the Golden Gophers while in college. While Murphy is a great scorer, she's also been known to be reckless at times. In an NCAA semifinals, Murphy was given a major for elbowing KK Harvey. Murphy plays with an edge, and sometimes that will cross the line. However, sometimes the physicality will wear on opponents. It'll be interesting to see how she will adjust with this at the professional level. The PWHL hitting is a little bit more lenient, or at least the rules are a little bit more lenient than a lot of other leagues, including international level. Next up is Layla Edwards, someone who played both defender and forward in college at Wisconsin. It seems like she'll come in as a defender, but we'll have to see how she's utilized. She might spend time doing both. Edwards is a tall defender at 6'1", who is also on the U.S. team that won gold this past Olympics. The native Ohioan Also won gold at last year's World Championships and silver the year before. She picked up a silver at the 2022 World Juniors as well. In the 2024 World Championships, she was the most valuable player. She was over a point per game in her time at Wisconsin, playing both forward and defense while she played there. She's an easy fan favorite, and it'll be interesting to see how she adapts and what role she plays in the PWHL. Another American, Kirsten Sims, is up next. She's a right wing from Wisconsin. Given how many Wisconsin players you've seen so far, would it shock you if I said they've won 3 out of the last 4 national titles? I didn't think so. Sims was on the Olympic champion team of 2026 as well. Sims has a pair of world championships and world junior medals, a gold and a silver each in both competitions. The Michigan native was well over a point per game with the Badgers during her 4 years with the program. Tessa Janicki breaks the Wisconsin streak, but not the streak of Americans. Janicki was another member of the 2026 U.S. Olympic squad. She's got 2 world championship golds and a silver along with a world junior silver in her trophy case as well. The Illinois native is the top center on this list. Her play helped Penn State win their first ever conference tournament in her freshman year, and Penn State won their conference tournament every year she was there after that. Yet another American, this time from Maryland, Lacey Eden, was yet another member of that Wisconsin dynasty. The Badger was not in the Olympic team like those above, but did partake in the World Championships with the U.S. on 5 occasions, winning 2 gold and 3 silvers. She also has a gold and a silver at the junior level. Eden won 4 total national titles at Wisconsin. While she might not have gotten the Olympic nod, the right wing will certainly be a quality player for whoever gets her in the PWHL. Moving along, but not breaking the streak of the U.S. players so far, the Minnesota-born Emma Peschel was a defender at Ohio State, which made the national title game all 4 years she was there. In 2024, she won the national championship with the Buckeyes. She hasn't gotten as much of an international look as the Americans on the last slide. She has a silver medal on the junior stage, but hasn't found her way to the senior level yet. Andrea Brandley is the top goalie in the draft and the first non-American. The Swiss goalie had an insane Olympics with a .953 save percentage and a bronze medal winning performance. She held Canada to 2 goals on 46 shots in a 2-1 semifinal loss. Lots of teams need goalies with expansion, so she'll be a hot commodity for anyone missing a netminder. She's got a few years of pro experience in the SDHL in Sweden, playing for Modo for a couple of years and for Lunda this past season. In 2025, she was named the SDHL's best goalie that year. Minnesota defender Sydney Morrow is next. The Connecticut-born Morrow played at 3 different colleges. She first played at Ohio State for a year, then at Colgate for a year, and then she ended up on the Golden Gophers for her last 2 years in college. She was nearly a point per game player in her last season in the NCAA, even as a defender. She even has a silver medal in the World Championships and the World Juniors on the international level. Defense is such a big commodity that she'll probably be seeing a lot of playing time in the PWHL as a rookie. Next up is our first Canadian. Sarah Swiderski is a defender out of Ohio State. Swiderski played at Clarkson for 2 years before transferring to Ohio State in her last year. The British Columbia native was born in November 2004 and will likely be one of, if not the youngest player in the league next year. Keeping with Canada, Izzy Wonder is up next. The Ivy League left winger out of Princeton was over a point per game in her 4 seasons with the Tigers. The Toronto native was the Ivy League Player of the Year on 2 occasions as well. Last up is Elisa Holopainen out of Finland. The left wing, who played last year with Brandley and Frölunda, won an Olympic bronze with the Finns in 2022. She came up just short, losing to Brandley's Swiss team in the bronze medal game earlier this year. She has a silver in the World Championship level, as well as 3 bronze medals in the World Championships to go with it. She won the SDHL title in 2025 and was the league's most valuable player that year as well. A bit older than many of the college players, Holopainen has proven herself with her clubs overseas and with her country at the national stage. And that'll be it for today's video. A little quicker today, as I mentioned, but I wanted to get this out before the draft. Didn't have a lot of time. The league put out the draft order 2 days before the draft, and I'm not going to get into the controversy on that, like I said, but it did kind of tighten things up a little bit here. This Friday, I plan on doing a little recap of the expansion process, phases 1 through 5. Um, Phase 6 itself is more of an open signing period, kind of a free agency, but phases 1 through 4 are kind of the meat of it, and those have already passed. And then phase 5 includes the draft. So we'll have a pretty good look at what the rosters look like by this Friday. Not the full rosters, but at least a decent idea. So I'd like to go over all that, the player movements, and just kind of give a summary of that as a sequel to the expansion video I put out before the whole expansion process happened. So thank you very much for listening. Gonna get 2 videos this week since you didn't get any last week, but appreciate if you watch this. Very quick turnaround on this. This will be out of date by tomorrow when this goes out. So hope at least a few of you enjoy it, and if you have any suggestions, comments, leave them below. And thank you very much, and have a great day.